Coming up in this episode of Four Wheel Drive Action, we tackle Yalwal's best. Get ready for some balls to the wall action. Will we make it out in one piece? You'll just have to wait to find out. We've got 3 wicked customs. And just like always, the stuff off the cutting room floor. The Four Wheel Drive Action outtakes. Well, folks, every situation tells a story. I'm going to begin telling ours by saying that it is now nearly midnight. We're camped here on the banks of the river near Wombat Flat Campground. You'll all know where that is. Just out of Nowra, a place called Yalwal. We've been out wheeling for about, the last nearly 18 hours. We've just limped back into camp. We've got breakages. We've had an absolutely epic day. To find out the rest of the story, we're going to have to go back to the beginning, which we'll do right now for you folk. For us, we're going to stay here and see if we can't get this out of there. Mate, I don't know how we're going to do that. Folks, sit back and enjoy four-wheel drive action, doing what four-wheel drive action does best. Locking it in and going nuts. Righto, stick your finger in there and just grab it. Now, we're starting this journey in the town of Nowra, just a couple of hours south of Sydney. We plan to have what we're going to call the ultimate tough weekender, exploring the hidden gems of Yalwal. We plan to tackle a section of the Powerline track and the famous tree route loop track, plus a whole lot more and anything else that we can find in between. With the morning looking pretty gloomy, we got stuck into it with the hope that the weather would clear up. Soon enough, it was time to air down and get stuck into what Yalwal's famous for. We've got a local bloke here, Matt, to take us around some of the tracks. He's up front in his runaround GQ, which he uses mainly for four-wheel drive fabrication work, picking up metal and that sort of thing. Sean is following closely behind in the old Dirty 30. I'm in my trusty Isuzu D-Max. My good mate Rocket Rod from Wholesale Automatics is back in his weapon of a 79 series. And of course, bringing up the rear is Nick from Black Series, towing the Alpha camper behind that monster of a GU. This is a slightly downhill but reasonably okay section of track with some really big rocky drop-offs. Of course, it doesn't look it, but some of these drop-offs will swallow a 35, so we're going to have to pick our line really carefully here. Shauno's up first. Let's see how he goes.
Oh, yes he did.
That's a bang.
This is exactly what Yalwal is all about. Short, sharp tracks right next to each other. That means you don't have to travel very far between obstacles to have an absolute blast. As you can see, pick the right line and it really isn't too bad at all. Yeah! Don't worry, that's a feature. That's a good noise. You don't want to fall down there. Rocket's had the benefit of being able to watch both Sean and myself pick a line through these obstacles. Doesn't really matter though, because he knows how to wheel. And that big 79 of his, well, with the auto, it's going to make this look a piece of cake.
Oh, this bit's going to be fun.
Righto. Nick, the Monster GU Patrol, towing a camper trailer. He's out here this weekend to test that camper trailer to its absolute limits. So you can bet you're going to see some spectacular driving. I have a feeling he's going to make it through this really easy. That truck is just so capable, and those camper trailers are built to take anything he can dish out, which means that when you buy one, you know it's going to handle what you dish out. You can see Nick's got sort of one eye on the camper trailer and one eye on what the GU's doing. It really is a bit more involved when you're towing a camper, especially when you're out in terrain like this. Just when we could see the top of the track, we could see what Matt was talking about, a big rock playground full of fun. Now, my plan here had been to spot Shauno through had he needed it. However, he's gone for the old lock, stomp and steer approach and's driven straight up. I tell you what, the old Dirty 30, she might not be the prettiest thing on the track, but she sure is capable. Righto, one last rock step and he's out of here. Oh, what was that noise? Only one wheel turning and it made a clinking sound.
Yep.
Let's give it one more go and just make sure. That's not got drive. You're definitely not getting drive to that wheel there.
Yeah, I heard the bang, mate.
There
I
was a-
heard the bang.
It was more of a clinking sound.
Just a nice sheer metal on
Really
metal,
was, like there was no
metallic, okay.
grinding, it was just clink. You reverse off. I'll get out of the way. There's an alternate line through here, we're just having a play. We don't have to come up this, there's an alternate line. We're gonna get him up through here and just see how it performs, see if we can diagnose it more. Nah, see, he's stuck on a piece that he shouldn't be stuck on.
Is that axle or is that bloody...
It could be either at this stage.
I reckon we just pulled both the axles and have a look.
I think it's an axle. I've done this before.
It made a very
I think
clean,
it's that
quick
freezer, yeah.
kink.
That's as clean as they come.
Yeah, you could eat off that.
We now have two problems. Not only has he broken an axle, but we've either done an E-locker or we've actually done the axle on this side. So we're not sure yet. So we're going to pull this axle out and check it. And that way we'll know which one we've broken.
After discovering the broken axle, we decided to head around the chicken track in 3-wheel drive and see if we could source a new one to put in. But now he's got no drive to the rear at all, which means his locker's packed it in.
Try it again.
We managed to find that there is power going to the locker, but it's not engaging. It's sort of decreasing. Hang on, just hold it where you think. Shauno, looks like you'll be running open diffs for the rest of this trip, mate. While Shauno got on the blower to a local mechanic to source a new axle, I got on to getting the D-Max up this section. Okay, first bit up through here. Now, this is all about wheel placement, and without clearance, you'll just end up bottoming out. So close. Plenty of traction here. I'm just falling into the ruts in between the rocks. That's what's stopping me. It's a bit frustrating, really. A little bit of track building, and I'll have another crack. I'm going to have to winch up this. That'll work. I'd call that pretty well done. This is just a simple winch for only a metre, metre and a half, not even a car length, and that's all I needed to get through. Pretty impressive. It's making that knocking sound on the opposite side. Okay, now it's time for rocket. Twin-locked, V8 powered, automatic transmission, and a really experienced driver. I reckon you've got this, mate. You are going to make it look easy.
You got it, mate. That's good.
Nice drive, Rocket. Really nice drive, mate. Jeez, I love that truck. I'll tell you what, I love how it sounds.
Hey! Love it! Mwah!
Now, do us proud, Nick. He's on the perfect line here and he's not holding back. Just getting that trailer around will prove to be difficult, I reckon. Go back a bit. I might just put a couple of rocks there, Nick. Once again, though, a bit of track building and manoeuvring the trailer. Let's see how he goes. Go, go, go! Yes! Drive it! Drive it! Drive it! Drive it! Yes! What a drive, mate. That is commitment and trust in your trailer. He's still going. In the time that it's taken the rest of us to get up, Matt has managed to source another axle, and get this, he's even managed to get it delivered to us out on the tracks. That is local knowledge, and that's what having mates is all about. It's really amazing how the terrain can change here, from massive boulders to mud and ruts. You know what, Yalwal really does have it all when it comes to four-wheel driving.
Yeah, okay. There's a couple of good little ruts down here. They're nothing too insane, but they're things that might get you diff every now and again. super cool. That's enjoyable, folks. Get into that one.
I've had to take a totally different line here and use every bit of suspension I've got. Four-wheel driving is about knowing your truck and how to best drive it on the obstacle that you're currently on. And right now, for me, it's staying out of that rut and trying to straddle it as best I can. If I'd gone in there, I would have had to winch me out. That's exactly my approach here, and as you can see, it's worked a treat. Down there, as if that rut wasn't even there. Yeah, it looked pretty cool, didn't it? Now, Rocket is not only heavy, but he's really top heavy. So he's got to take this one with extreme caution not to fall into that bank. Oh mate, no way. That is a hairy angle if ever I saw one. Now, Nick has to get the GU into a perfect position to ensure the trailer comes down safely. He has done a mighty good job there. That off-road hitch has just paid for itself, I reckon, mate.
A little bit of front locker did the trick on that one.
Have a go at that traction control, will you? It just works. I don't understand it. Some sort of weird black magic, but it just works, and it works well. If in doubt, throttle out. Rocket, being about 140 foot long, is going to have the front of the four-wheel drive through, while the back is still in Yalwal somewhere. Come on, get into it, Rocket. That's a really tricky drive for a camper trailer, no matter what truck is pulling it. Nick's doing a great job through there, I've got to say. You can see how close the trees are on one side. There's not a lot of room for him to manoeuvre here. That means he's got to get that line absolutely spot on.
Trying to give my little undercarriage a bit of a wash. I might even wash the car while I'm at it.
You know, I've seen this river in a variety of different forms. It's actually been dry a couple of times I've been out here, and then once couldn't even get across it because it was a raging floodwater. Today, there's not much in it, but it is a really pretty little spot, and this is why I love coming down to places like Yalwal. So close to a major setting, and yet so pristine and beautiful.
Tonight I cooked up some basic skewers. Now, I love skewers because they're so dead easy to make and they taste absolutely unreal. And the other good thing about skewers is you can literally raid the Waco, find what you got left and use it on your skewers. So that's what I'm about to do right now. And I know I've got some lamb in here and that's going to be one of the main ingredients for these skewers. I've got some lamb. So what I want to do is I basically want to marinate this lamb. Now, I don't have to marinate it for days at a time. I just want to marinate it for about an hour, probably about 4 or so beers. And then I'll come back to it and put them all together and start cooking them. I've got a nice piece of lamb here. Just want to take that out. Oh, that looks good. And what I basically want to do here is start to cut it up into some bite-sized pieces, you know, big enough for a skewer. So what are you doing, mate?
I love the way this is just up to my height here. I can just get in here and grab myself a beer. What are you going to do here?
Well, I'm making a marinade. It's real simple.
Okay. You're going to put that on your head?
You come at the right... No. Exactly right, mate. I just want to marinate, so I basically want to people that marinate all over here in the Waco for maybe an hour. Chuck my meat in there. So I've got a bit of olive oil here. You probably want about 4 spoons of olive oil, maybe about 5 or 6 or 7. Lemon juice from a height, obviously.
Ah, come get it in that bag, yeah.
Get some of it in there. Get some of it in there.
Please.
Salt and pepper.
You remind me of that chef from the Muppets.
Pepper.
You put the lid on that, Tiger.
No. Bit of garlic.
Yep.
Bit of garlic. Now that always goes down well. Give
Put
it
a lot, dude.
fair bit of squirt.
Savage.
That's
Go,
enough.
another one,
That's
another
enough.
one.
That's enough. I'm going to put a couple of bay leaves in there. They're just for flavour. That's plenty. I'm just going to crush them like that. You got lemon juice over everything, mate.
Me? I'm covered in the stuff. I'm like marinated. So how long are you going to leave that for?
I reckon at least an hour. Look, you could leave it overnight, but look, we don't have the time for that. We're going to put that straight in the Waco. Just go straight in there. Keep your eyes off those. One of the little tips I've been told with skewers, soak them with a bit of water, and then I'll just leave these for an hour.
Oh, okay, so you soak those in water, then you skewer them, and they don't
burn. You know, sometimes you get all those burnt skewers.
Ah.
They won't burn.
You know the saying, you're not just a pretty face?
You just got to put them in the bag, lock them up.
Yep.
That's sort of locked up.
Yeah.
So I'm going to leave that at the front of the Waco. That's going to sit right there. I've got a little bit of halloumi. I've got some broccoli. I've got capsicum, onion, red onion, mushroom, all that sort of stuff. And
Mate,
they're going to be perfect with the lamb.
Exactly 1 hour.
That's 2, mate. Well done. Literally grab what you can see, put it on a skewer. I'm going to do all these lines up. These are monster skewers. These are huge. They're man-sized skewers.
They really are.
You know, I love cooking on a camper trailer kitchen. It just makes life so easy. I mean, that's why I've come over here and used Nick's Alpha from Black Series. I mean, it's just a proper functional kitchen.
Yep.
And we'll probably cook those for about 5 to 10 minutes, and we're going to have, I reckon, a pretty good camp meal. They look good, taste great, pretty healthy really too.
Oh, dude, these things are like, you could sell these in Byron Bay. They'd love them.
You probably need more tofu for that, mate.
Settle down.
They are looking just about good. I can see the boys. Here we go. Here we go.
Good.
Look at that.
Thanks, mate.
Look at that. That is a man-sized skewer if I've ever seen one. And you know what? I can't take all the credit for this particular meal, and like a lot of meals I cook, I actually steal the recipe off my mum. Mums are good cooks. I'm not so good. What do you reckon?
Really good, man.
That's great.
Folks, skewers, try it out. I guarantee you're not going to be disappointed. Far out. Not bad, is it?
Coming up in part 2, we go on to tackle the tree root loop, but it doesn't go according to plan. You're just going to have to sit back, relax, and wait and see. This morning we were all up really early and we only had one thing on our minds. Well, 2, breakfast and then hitting the tracks. So it wasn't long before we were straight into it. You're not going to go far around Yalwal before you find some good old-fashioned mud. Shauno, you're up first, mate. Have a listen to that thing, will you? The old Dirty 30 on full noise. It's a sight to see and a sound to hear. Here we go. Gonna go in hot. Okay, my only real concern here was how deep the ruts are. So I'm going to hit this with a bit of momentum because I saw Sean go in and I know there's nothing there that I can come in contact with. It's going to do damage. Yoo-hoo! Yes! Good Lord, will you listen to that thing, Rocket? What a beast. Nick's seen there's nothing there to do any damage, so he's going to be hitting this with a fair bit of ferocity. Go for it, buddy. Woohoo! That's how you do it. And just what Yalwal is good for. We came up to a doozy of a hill climb. Shaly, dusty, steep and rutted. Matt's up first, and we all watched with a keen eye to see just how he went. Now he's got a rear locker in there, and I tell you what, after a few attempts and that locker working, he's up. All right, with Sean's rear locker out of action, he's got to really hit this one well.
Put my front locker on.
Whoa, Sean, mate, Struth, for some reason he's lost all brakes here and halfway through a hill.
No brakes.
It's the last thing you want.
Got 0 brakes. Let's give us one more go with a bit of left.
You happy there? And that is as far as he's going to get now. Let's just hope those brakes hold up, mate, just a little longer. A quick winch and he's making his way up the hill. You can see right there, those springs are just scraping, and I reckon that is what's held him up. The strength of one man. There you go, Sean. Now go and park somewhere flat. Preferably up against a tree.
Yeah, come on up, buddy, when you're ready. I'm up here, mate. So I'll try and guide you.
I am going to, in the initial stage of this climb, stay out of the ruts. Now, even Shauno up here was dragging his diff, so maybe I'll be okay. We'll see. Yeah, you can just feel it stop you. I'm going to have to take a bit more of a run up on that. Now, I don't have the clearance that Shauno has in the Dirty 30, but I do have IFS in the D-Max, which for this kind of terrain is what you want. Still no luck though, I'm giving it the best I can. These ruts are just a bit too deep and I'm catching on the rear diff.
Not even close to driving up.
Okay then.
Hook the Dominator up and he'll just win straight out of here. Driving there.
Yeah, good drive. All right, rocket rod and steep hills. Oh, Struth. Give it a go, mate. Give it a go.
Do you want a winch or do you give another go?
I'll try one more go. I think I need to go further back though this time.
You listen to that. He is not holding back. How good is that auto right there? And you know that he trusts it on hills like this.
Yes! Hey!
Rocket rod is not right in the head. Okay, next is Nick, and he's probably got the biggest challenge of anyone to get up here. If the Black Series trailer gets hung up here, he'll stop in his tracks. Okay, mate, give it another crack. Both lockers on, full noise. Get up it, mate. So close, so close.
Bloody good go, mate. Bloody good go.
Yeah, I think I'll have to winch it from there.
I tell you what though, that independent suspension on the trailer is working wonders. That'll do him. He's there. Okay, little tip for folks at home that use a shackle rather than a hook on the edge of the winch rope. I'm not going to wind this in that position. Instead, I'm going to change it so that it's in that position there with the rope over the pin. I'll show you why right now. And then just give it one more little pump on the winch controller and it's tightened up against the pin, which means the pin can't rattle loose, come undone, and let you lose your shackle. I've had it happen many a time. I've lost many a shackle, especially up places like the Cape where you're doing big long drives on corrugated roads. They can come loose really easily. And you can use a cable tie through there to hold that pin in place, but it's just one more thing you've got to muck around with when you go to do a recovery. So if you pull it in like that, nice and tight, pin can't come loose, can't lose your shackle. Of course, what goes up must come down. We're starting the tree route loop track now, and talk about boulder country. This place has got it all. This right here is only the access track heading down to what is, or what we've been told is, the more challenging section. Have a go at it though, just getting down here is hard enough. Dude, your tyre then was like underneath that rock.
Yeah, they're nice and tough, thank goodness.
I reckon in the wet coming back up this would be an absolute blast. I'm going to put that in the memory banks for next time. The tree is awfully close, is there?
Tell you what, Graham, you threaded the needle absolutely perfectly then, mate.
There wasn't much in there, was there? Geez, there's not a lot of room there, is there? You can see the truck's just scraping past that tree.
Right, I'm going to try and go around. In comes the mirror. Tuck in, say hello to the tree, hello. Did I make it around? Oh, I did!
No idea how I'm going to tackle this.
Oh, there's my mirror again.
Yeah, Nick's keeping a really close eye on that trailer. He's doing a pretty good job too.
Angles. Mirrors.
Some of the angles that Rocket Rod is getting on right there, I tell you what, he can punt that 79 of his and he drives it so well.
Whoop.
I heard that from here.
Yep, no idea what that was. That one was a trailer.
If I get to here,
Oh,
wow,
you've won the day.
I'm doing very well. But
Yeah,
the
I think
line
so.
definitely is a tyre up on the
Yep.
high side and try and not hit that tree and
Yep,
that rock.
yep.
The good thing is, like, choosing a line through that bit, it's only about a vehicle wide, so you've got no real
No
choice.
choice.
You just have to drive.
There's no choice here either.
No, you just have to drive.
Just
that
got to go
line.
up there.
Oh, this is insane. Huge boulders, diff clangers absolutely everywhere. You really have to pick your line through here.
Oh, watch that rock. Oh. The real challenging section here, of course, is two parts. Obviously, fitting through this tight gap between the two rocks. Panel damage, a definite possibility. The second, of course, is having to hang hard left as soon as you get up, straddle a rut, and make it past the tree. Try that. Shauno is into this, and he's not giving up. It's your rear diff. Go right back. Come over this rock. Yep. Look at that line. Pretty much perfect if you ask me. Now just to get through that rock step. Yes! Yes! Drive! Yeah! Yeah, that is a committed drive.
I've got no brakes.
Hard left up around that rut now.
Keep coming like that, perfect, absolutely perfect. Keep coming, keep coming. Good thing you're about to climb a rock.
Just got to be mindful of that rock on the driver's side.
Harder right. That's it. That's the line. Yeah!
Yeah, baby.
You did it.
That is so much fun. I love that style of driving, just slow, technical stuff, rocks everywhere.
Okay, here we go. I've got to pick my line so carefully through here.
You're doing remarkably well.
Okay, up in the D-Max. I've got to pick a line through here and try and avoid getting hung up, which is exactly what I've just gone and done right here.
Hitting the rock.
I'll try coming over the left. Reverse though, and just try a slightly different approach to this. That gives it some scale. Have a look at the size of some of these rocks, will you? Can't say I'm disappointed at getting this far. I reckon that was still a pretty decent effort for the old D-Max. Sometimes you just got to call for a winch, and how good is that tree? Positioned directly in front. Couldn't have grown better. As you can see there, it's really just a car length, as easy as that.
So drive backwards.
Just being super careful here, you can see just how close that passenger side is to caving in on that rock.
Change trees.
We don't want to do any damage if we can avoid it, and that's why we're just going to reposition that winch and try again.
That's it. You can reset.
Okay, left-hand crawl. If I can just get traction here, I've got this. How is that for a drive? Come on. You got to admit, that was pretty darn good. I'm pumped. I'm absolutely stoked with that. Righto, Rocket. I've shown you how to do it, mate. Let's go for it. Listen to that thing just idling its way up here. Jeez, it's a brute. He's all concentration too. Look at him. Righto, mate. Line it up perfectly. Straight through the gap. You got this. Look at the size of that rock he's trying to get over. You still got to admit this is a tough bit of terrain. Rocket's had the winch here just to get him a car length above that rock that he's been held up on. Now that we've done that, of course, we'll redo the winch and see how he goes. I'm impressed with how well he made it through there. I honestly didn't think Rocket would make it through those gaps. And that left-hand turn up that rut, it was like it wasn't even there.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Yeah!
We're up. Hey!
Nick's really got his work cut out for him with the camper trailer.
Things falling over everywhere.
But this is exactly why he's brought the camper trailer along, to push it to its absolute limits. There's no need to do damage to the tracks just to prove a point on your camper trailer, so that's why we're going for the winch now.
Yeah.
Logistically though, getting that camper trailer through this gap is going to be a nightmare. Some really creative winching techniques going on here. As you can see, what's happening is we've got to move the camper trailer across ever so slightly just to line Nick up so that he can fit through that gap and do as minimal amount of damage to the camper trailer as possible. These things are tough, but still, cosmetic damage is still damage. You want to avoid it at all cost. And I reckon that is pretty darn impressive for a camper trailer up one of the tougher tracks out here. As is often the case, we actually had a fair bit of trouble getting the old camera car up. So before we know it, the sun had set and, yeah, that's right, it was pitch black. This is exactly why we all carry quality lighting on the front of our rigs. It's for when you don't intentionally mean to be out, or, like in our case, when night comes and it's just as much fun to punch on into the dark. The Dirty 30, well, I was going to say it's doing it easily, but that is a pretty technical drive on Sean's behalf. Look at that, you can really see scrambling for traction there.
Well, that wasn't the line I really wanted.
I think Shauno's going to have to go back and just try a slightly different line. That's it, mate. Straddle that rock. You got this. Punch it up over the top. Ooh, watch the tree. And that is pretty impressive.
Don't go too far. Might need a winch to make it.
That's a drive, mate. That's a drive.
Righto, mate. Get out of the way. I'm coming through.
All those lights are bright. This is about as much fun as you can have on four wheels.
I'm going to take the same approach to this little obstacle, but I'm going to try and get up it slightly sideways.
Go! You're out. Done.
It's not a bad effort. I'll take that.
Yeah, no, good go. I'm going to get the winch ready.
A little bit of track building, some packing of rocks, and we'll give it one more go. No, sometimes you just got to know when to say enough is enough.
Let's get the winch out.
Yeah, just put it at 60. I'm going to hook up to the back of the Dirty 30 and use that as a winch point. And as you can see, I really didn't need much here. Not even a car length, half a car length. Not even a four-wheel drive length, just half a four-wheel drive's worth of winching. and we're home and hosed. That is some pretty gnarly going in the middle of the night. Cool. Okay, rockets up. Always entertaining to watch. And in the middle of the night, I dare say he'll be even more so. Nah, you're gonna... Oh, well, maybe. Ooh, you look at that. Geez, that thing's got some weight in the rear. I've decided just to jump down here and throw a few rocks in exactly where those wheel spins are happening.
For some reason, she just won't turn right.
My hope is that he's going to get just enough traction to be able to pull up and over this section.
That scared the bejesus out of me.
I think that noise tells the story. That's got to be a front axle.
Big kaboom.
We're going to have to break out that winch, mate, and do this slow and controlled before we do any more damage.
Yes! Woo! Woo! All there, mate.
Nick's coming through and he is not holding back.
Turn.
He is just pushing everything he's got. I tell you what, you wanted to test things, Nick. You are doing the job.
Yeah, whoa, yes! Oh, yes! Woohoo! Yeah!
There is no damage.
It's still straight.
There's nothing wrong with it.
It's still straight. This is on its side. You just dragged it up.
What do you say we just push on as best we can, get up off this track,
Yeah.
which will lead to another fire trail,
Probably try and diagnose.
have a look at Rocket's truck, and then head into camp.
Cool, man.
Done.
All right.
Let's do this. We ended up getting into camp quite late. Just about everyone dove straight onto campus and started to get some Zeds, but not for Rocket. Out with the tools, mate. It's just gone 20 to midnight. You're only going to take it out, you're not going to do anything else, are you?
No, that's all I'm going to do. I just want to find out what it is.
There's your problem right there.
That is supposed to be about, I don't know, what do you reckon, 2 feet longer? The next issue,
It's getting that out of there.
how to fish it out. That
This for
is
tomorrow.
going to require a beer and a few tall stories about how everybody else has done it. See who comes up with the best story.
I like it. If you just got up, sit back down and lock the hubs in your lounge chair because part 3 of our epic adventure is not to be missed.
Cool little bit of driving. It's pretty technical, a bit of a choose your own adventure.
Just some massive rock steps out here. You just got to take your time and don't go over them too fast because often when you drop down the other end, you're going to do damage underbody wise. I'm talking things like fuel tanks can be ruptured and well, you're close enough to town that it's not going to be a huge big deal, but that's money you don't need to spend and it's time off the tracks. And I know where I'd rather be. Oh yeah.
Gold dragon, I think, all the way down there, great.
On a lot of these tracks when I'm following someone, say Shauno in the Dirty 30, I'm actually looking for the line not to take. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but I know where I need to be in the D-Max.
Look, found the first rut.
And sometimes that's not where some of the bigger trucks go. And yeah, I'll make it through, but I have to take a slightly different line. And I think that's what it comes down to, knowing your truck and how to drive it. Of course, Nick's got 2 rear ends he's got to worry about here. The first is on the GU and the second is on the camper trailer. Something tells me though, that camper trailer is going to take it no matter what. Rocket, you really do get on some strange angles, my friend.
That hurt.
Rather you than me.
Tell you what, Nick, you make that look really easy, mate. Considering you've got a camper on the boat.
one heck of a drive, Shauno. I don't know what line you were taking there, mate, but you made that look difficult. I'm up in the D-Max now. I'm going to try and take just a slightly different line, a bit wider out, and see if I can't not cut that corner. There, you good thing. What was that? Flew in my mouth. Goodness gracious, that was pretty impressive.
Nice one, Graham.
I got a feeling Rocket is going to find this really difficult with that open front end. That doesn't mean he's not going to give it a red hot shot though. You don't call him Rocket Rod for nothing. Yeah, right about there. That's where I thought he was going to hit some trouble.
You got some serious clicking up here.
It looks like I've also broken a left-hand front hub.
I think there's nothing for it here, Rocket. We're going to have to winch you up this section, mate.
Good work. Winch up here, Rocket.
Plan now is just to get him out here and up onto what you can see direct behind me is a nice flat area. We'll change that hub out and we'll reassess and just see what's going to happen, see what we're going to do. Any drive he does here is just going to push him further to the left. So he's got to let the winch do most of the work here. You know, if Rocket didn't have that automatic in here, I reckon he would be struggling twice as much. The control that he's got is impressive right through here, and this is exactly when he needs it most. I am convinced that in this gnarly terrain, autos make life so much easier. Okay. This is a gnarly section of track. I reckon Nick is going to have his work cut out for him. With that trailer on the back, he's going to need all the mumbo he can muster. You're on a big rock step on your passenger side car, and the trailer's trying to come up a rock step at the same time as well. Nick's hit a bit of a stalling point here, but if he goes back just a bit and gets a little bit more mumbo, yeah, that's it. All that dust tells the story. That's the drive, mate. That's exactly what we're looking for.
Reapers. That's one way of doing it.
In terms of hard tracks, you're pretty much out.
You're done.
That's it.
That's
Well, I don't want to be done.
No, we've got this little track I want to do on the way to a lookout point that my brother's given me. He's a local around here.
Yep.
I've actually marked it on the VMS right there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to give you the VMS here. You can put in the 79.
Oh.
I'll meet you there.
Oh,
You've just lost your VMS.
Look at that.
That's gone.
Shiny things.
Right, Graham's got one. We'll use his
Yeah, you
to
can
get
go.
around the long way.
Have I got that? Have I got that waypoint? Or you know where it is?
I'll put it in
You know
yours.
where it is? Okay.
So we'll meet there. And
What, an hour or so?
yeah, it shouldn't take us long.
I've still got quite a climb out anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're still at Wombat's Flats.
Yep.
But you guys
Okay.
go have some fun, do the last track,
Yep.
and hopefully we'll meet up at the same point at the same time.
We should.
Fingers crossed.
We're going to be at GME 13.
If
Channel
not, it's
13.
probably because I'm pulling all these bloke buggers out and snatch straps
Yeah,
and stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Just
So
look
we'll
for
be
that.
on Channel 13. So if you get in any trouble, mate, just give us a
Give us
buzz.
a yell.
Yeah.
No worries.
All right.
All right, good luck, mate.
We'll see
All
you
right,
there.
guys,
Catch you there.
have some fun.
It's more of these ruts and tree roots, trees, big rocks. This stuff is just awesome. It's a true full driver's playground down here. So much fun. I love this stuff. It's first gear, low range, just idle through.
There's no advice I can give for everybody's truck. It really is about getting out into the bush every chance you've got and driving as many different types of terrains and different locations as you possibly can and knowing your vehicle. Oh, what have we got up here? Some serious wombat holes. Better line needed, better line, bit of thinking. And sometimes you just gotta keep trying. And eventually, yeah, you'll get it. Traction control! Traction control! And then when all else fails, rely on traction control. Traction control! Traction control! How good is it? Righto, Nick's going to have to really pick his line through here because there's going to be no room for that camper trailer whatsoever. This is the bit he's going to have trouble with. He's going to get hung up. It's going to be right here. Yeah, as I suspected, right there, because the GU's trying to come up just as the camper trailer is, and there's also a really subtle little left-hand and right-hand turn. It's going to be a difficult little bit, this. It can make the world of difference just jumping out and packing a track in areas that you're not getting traction.
Let's do that again.
Have a look at the difference it's made right there. Nick's made that look easy, and all he did was put 3 or 4 rocks in the hole where one wheel was spinning. Wombat holes. Have a look at these. If it's wheel lift you want, this is where you come.
Yeah, look, I've still got raw suspension. I've just recently replaced some of the springs, and I found that it gives me a good amount of articulation, like you can probably see right now, and also a fair bit of touring ability as well. Oh my goodness, right, did you see that?
That is a wheel lift.
Oh, I thought you were going over then 2 times, maybe even 3.
I just love this terrain. Have a look at the wheel lift. And that is what I keep talking about, traction control. It just works.
Never before seen footage of an IFS wing in the air.
As for Shauno, well, brute strength and right boot.
This is so much fun. Huge wheel lifts and big ruts. You really have to keep your tyres on the high side of these ruts. Oh, that's so much fun. Oh, yeah.
Nick's got big clearance, big tyres and lockers and an auto. I think he's going to walk up through here, and I don't think he's even going to notice that he's got the camper trailer on the back. Of course, the independent suspension on that camper trailer is going to mean that it's just going to walk through these gaps. This is what testing is all about, and this is why Nick's brought the trailer out here. Pretty good spot, eh, Shauno?
Oh, insane, mate.
Insane spot.
Yalwal on the south coast of New South Wales, it really has opened my eyes. It's a four-wheel drive paradise, and I reckon it doesn't get the accolades and attention it deserves.
No.
Probably a handful of really, probably enthusiastic four-wheel drivers would come and drive these tracks on a regular basis, but the rest of Australia, they probably don't know what they're missing out on.
I'd have to agree with you. Look, you don't have to come out here and do monkey gum for interest's sake. Monkey gum, we didn't get time. This is just over there, on that ridge over there. You don't have to come out here and do monkey gum and all the really gnarly ones like 6 stage. Just to get to places like this though, you do need a four-wheel drive, and it's places like this, views like this one. We're going to stand on this rock. This is why I, and why Shauno, own four-wheel drives. Because to get to places like this by foot ain't nearly as much fun, mate.
Oh, no way, mate.
Not even close.
I had some of the most fun I've ever had in low range.
Yeah.
Broke a few things.
Mate, you did.
Well, so did some other people. Look, us two-outer drivers, we stick together, mate.
That's
You
it.
do, you stick together so much.
Band of brothers.
You break things together, that's good to see. I reckon we got time for one more track, mate. You keen?
Oh, mate, damn whatever.
You going to hold together?
I might just. Who knows?
Folks, we'll see you next time, maybe down here at Narra, because we come back at least once or twice a year. If not, we'll catch you somewhere else around Australia, or whereabouts.
Mate, we'll see ya. Drive action.
Catch you soon. For more on this adventure and to find out all the details that you didn't see on camera, read my article in 4-Wheel Drive Action magazine. Now look, if you enjoyed this DVD, don't forget that you can watch every episode of 4-Wheel Drive Action because it's available for download in HD from our massive online library. There's over 100 episodes available for your viewing pleasure. Also, if you want to keep up to date with 4-Wheel Drive Action, then like our Facebook page and you'll get heaps of videos, there's epic pics, there's competitions, and a whole lot more.